At best, the alien abduction phenomenon is a terrifying, traumatic experience. At its worst, well, we think they sometimes take people and don't put them back.
I lost my mother and brother to this trauma. He murdered her, then killed himself.
These women are being used as human incubators, with all their children stolen away into the night.
A 6-foot-tall entity of blue-white light paralyzed me, then bent down and said into my ear, "Hi, Steve." It knew my name.
We hear gruesome stories of experiments and dissections. Imagine dying on a metal table while paralyzed, surrounded by alien faces. It's a real horror story. Welcome back, everyone, to our show, Abductions 101, UFOs and the Paranormal Connection. I'm your hostess, Leslie Shaw.
I'm Stephen Shaw.
And welcome. We have a really exciting show planned for today. Stephen's sister, Karen Sinclair, and her husband, Jonathan, are both, they're going to join us. And they are ghost hunters, right, Stephen?
Yes, in Northern England, part-time.
Yeah. And so for our intro today, we thought we'd share a story that Karen was involved with a family. In 1983, Irene, Karen, and Phillip were living at the Sonora house,
yes,
right,
in 1983, the house we're building in Sonora, California. Correct.
And
my dad and I were living in Woodland Hills working as cabinet makers. So we basically earning the money so that my sister and brother could go to high school up in Sonora.
Yeah, the house, the family wasn't separated or anything. They were just...
no, this is our second house.
Yeah, they were just building a second house. And so the schools were a little better up in Sonora. So the kids...
Yeah, so this incident happened in the late spring of 1983.
Mm-hmm.
Just prior to this, what my mom called an imp attacking her during basically the mid part of the day while my sister and brother were at school. She was attacked by this imp. Interestingly, just before this event happened, all three of them were feeling sick. They called sick. They didn't know what it was. It just was, they were not feeling well.
And then this bizarre entity attacked Irene, and then after the attack, they all felt better again.
Yes, she basically said it was very ugly, this little imp type of black being attached to her back behind her and was literally clawing at her and especially her neck. And it was she was terrified. And then eventually she said, get off me or go away.
She screamed at it. Yeah.
Right. And finally let go. What happened was that she ended up getting this swelling on her neck on the right side, and she went to the doctor, and it was diagnosed as a scrofula, which is basically a swelling of the neck that is not a goiter, but it was about the size of about half of a lemon.
It's like a subcutaneous infection.
Right. And the doctor, she didn't tell the doctor about the imp attack, of course, but he said that it was probably like a cat scratch. He thought it was like a cat scratch.
And the infection was cat scratch fever.
And she maintained she had that for the rest of her life. It never went away.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting how my sister was 17, my brother was 16. And during that time frame, my brother was also having the incident that we talked about on another show.
The alien abduction incidents. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, where he saw the tall gray in his bedroom.
So just another bizarro thing that happens,
yes,
to
do
the
with
family.
the family. Correct.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that, and we'll be back in a few moments with our wonderful guests.
Yes.
Good evening. Are you wondering if the UFO phenomenon is real?
Are you wondering who is flying the UFOs in our skies?
Are you wondering if aliens are really abducting people?
Then you need to read this book.
The book is titled Who They Are and What They're Up To.
Find out the true identity of the aliens.
Learn a very brief history of the UFO cover-up.
Find out where the aliens are hiding.
Find out why our government is in league with them.
Learn about their bizarre hybrid breeding program.
Find out why their technology is 13,000 years ahead of ours.
The reference section of this book alone is worth the price.
Again, that was Who They Are and What They're Up To by Leslie and Stephen Shaw.
Now available on Amazon and coming soon in the Spanish and Czech languages.
And soon to be in English and Spanish audiobook.
With a new foreword by fellow author and abductee Karen Wilkinson.
Again, that was Who They Are and What They're Up To by Leslie and Stephen Shaw. now available on Amazon. Welcome back, everyone. Today we have our wonderful guests are Karen and Jonathan Sinclair. Karen is Stephen's sister.
That's right.
And so she's also familiar with a lot of the bizarro things that happened in the family home. And also, Karen is very psychic, just like Stephen. And the two of them are now ghost hunters, right?
Mm-hmm. Karen and Jonathan are, yes.
And tell us about how that got started.
The ghost side of it, like how we got into doing like ghostly locations. That.
Yes. Yeah. But for our audience, by the way, they are in northern England.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. We mentioned it in the intro.
It sounds like I'm American, but actually we're northern England.
We're cold England.
Very cold at the moment.
Yes.
I don't know. You've always had an interest in spirits. I've always had an interest because our family, if those that know Stephen know that our family's just always been very active, a lot of paranormal stuff going on. Mm-hmm. Coming over here, we ended up just going on a random ghost hunt with a friend, and that's all started from there, really.
Yeah.
You got hooked, huh?
We got hooked. As soon as it started and all the energy started around us and things started happening and dowsing crystal started moving very quickly with me, and Jonathan, you were having a lot of things happen.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Jonathan, are you also psychic, sensitive?
No, but I attract sort of like more of the darker spirits. So
me
the
too.
darker spirits kind of like me more than you're the light side. So.
Yeah, I'm the one who does the prayers of protection and everything, and those darker spirits don't like me, but they seem to like you.
I want to let our audience know too that Karen, my sister, sent an example of a very recent, I think it was yesterday, automatic writing she did in pen. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned in an email that it looked a lot like Mom's automatic writing from years ago when I used to see her do automatic writing.
Really?
Very, very similar. And you mentioned that was Grandma Eve's. It looked similar to that too. Yeah. So for our audience, my sister has taken up the mantle of the automatic writing for the family. Mm-hmm. There always seems to be a woman in the family that does the automatic writing for at least 4 generations that we've been able to track so far.
And as I recall, Karen, you weren't interested in doing it early in life, but after your mother passed away, suddenly you felt an inclination to do it, right?
Compelled to do it, yeah, because what happened is back when I was younger, so much was happening in the house, and it's almost like I shut down. I got scared of everything, and I kind of shut that side of myself down. But when they passed and things happened, and we were already into the ghost hunting stuff with ghostly locations, I thought, well, I'm going to do my best to call out and try to find out what's happened and why this all happened, because it was such a tragic story of how everything happened.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting messages coming through with, I don't know if you're familiar with a dowsing crystal.
We're familiar
where you
with
hold on to it and you can ask questions, and then the spirit energy can move it and you can ask questions, yes and no, and all of that with this crystal. And I've been using that for a few years before they passed. And so that's how I started getting my getting this energy coming through that was spelling words out to me. And they were telling me things through this board that I had bought. Kind of like a Ouija board idea, but for a dowsing crystal where it could swing to letters and then spell things out for me. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how it started. I was calling out, come on, please come forward. Tell me what happened. Why has this happened? Help me.
The tragedy,
that's kind of where it all started.
Karen, the tragedy for our audience, the tragedy to which Karen is referring is we lost 3 family members all within a few months of each other in 2017. Stephen and Karen's father died of cancer in August, and then in December, I think the death of his father unsettled Philip's mind, and the care of his mother was just too much for him, and he ended up killing his mother and himself with a shotgun, and in December on his birthday, I believe, and it was quite the tragedy. So That's the tragedy. We had to back up a little on that. We were referring
that was the
to,
catalyst, yeah.
And so so Irene was killed at that time, and it was after that you felt this inclination to take up the mantle of automatic writing.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it. Yeah.
Sorry, could you explain what automatic writing is for our audience?
Yeah. It's the same basic ideas. If you have a dowsing crystal and they're moving, the energy is moving that crystal, the spirits are moving it. But instead of that, they channel through my hand. And when you have a pen, they can use that to write through and give me messages. I could never do it before. I tried, and I would just get headaches and I couldn't. But I've since found out, and if you ask me more about the family spirit guide, Stephen, I've got new information about that and why things opened up at the timing they did. We've talked about that every woman in the family has always had this automatic writing, and as soon as that happened, things started opening up for me. And I was able to just, all of a sudden it just happened, and the pen started moving, and that was it. And then the channeling just got easier and easier. You know.
It's interesting that I did that a long time. Didn't use a crystal. I used a radionic pendulum out of beechwood that they're actually made over there in Britain. The good ones are made there. So I would use that for determining what herbs or what formula, or just asking basic questions using the radionic pendulum. And it's very, very effective tools for our audience. They absolutely do work. You have to basically clear your mind and just trust to the and it gets better with practice. Better with practice anything.
I can take a crystal and it can spin. I can just hold it like this and it'll just spin. Super fast. And then depending on the energy in the room, it goes faster. Just depends.
Yes, I've seen Stephen do it too, where it almost goes horizontal. It's spinning so fast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but so you're saying that you had some. So you wanted me to ask you questions about the spirits.
Ole Glegley, let's. Could you?
The reason automatic writing. Did you want to do that? Talk about that more, or did you want to change whatever?
Oh no, I just wanted to mention real quick for our audience that we have this. Oh, sorry, you guys. I just wanted to mention it's just the time lag a little bit here. That kind of throws me. That we have this family spirit guide that's been with us for about 4 generations called Ole Glegley, which apparently in some Tunisian language means my friend. So, and he this entity has appeared basically in the same form for well over 100 years. Tall, kind of skinny, looks a little bit different, but seems to be a kind of an intermediary or a contact for our bloodlines. And that's a little bit of and automatic writing seems to be one of the main tools. And sometimes, visual appearances too. But my sister has some new information. You said you wanted to pass on some contact information?
The information about the Ole Glegley is like in your book, like you've mentioned, the 4 generations of, family and it's been handed down and always communicating with him. What's happened was, and I've been told this through the automatic writing, actually talking to Grandma Eva and my mother the other day, is that so much to say, but basically he's not here now. When she passed, there was a reason why they had to pass the timing they passed. Like she's told me to tell you that nothing could have changed anything. It had to happen the way it happened. And when she passed, she now and Grandma Eva are now my spirit guides. Ole Glegley, because I'm the last of the line, has moved on. He's not with the Shaw family now.
No kidding.
She said, we are now the reason they had to come and they had to take over that role. And she said there's no other way. It had to happen that way. And they needed to be here helping whatever next they need to do, whatever that journey in my life is, whatever that journey, their journey came to an end. And when that happened, they needed to be part of this part now. And Ole Glegley's moved. He's not part of it. I don't communicate with him.
Did he leave us, the family? We no longer have the family line is ending as far as females in our family line. You have 2 sons, but as far as the family line is concerned, you're the last of the women in it.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you get busy and have a daughter,
I know. But it's really strange because she said it's not. It had to happen. What happened had to happen. There's no stopping it. They had to pass in order for this next thing to happen, and he's not part of the family anymore, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I don't know.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
It is really weird. It's like when I got that medicine, I'm like, really? And I said, are you sure? And they're like, no, this had to happen, Karen. There's no stopping what happened. You couldn't have stopped it even if you tried, is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
The tragedy where you're referring to?
Yeah, mom and Phillip passing. There's nothing we could have done.
Mm-hmm.
That had to happen.
And what I think is really interesting is that you've had them reach out and actually have physical things happen at your place, like the flashlight, and those are interesting.
Yeah,
things.
well, yeah, where's that? This is the flashlight that we've had standing on our
with this card on. Oh, hold on. It's back the front.
Oh, Shaw's cabinets, yes.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Well, on the 1-year anniversary of Phillip and Mom passing, it was 3 a.m. This thing we've had on our TV stand, which is glass, been on there for years. With the whole year, never fans on, never blown over, nothing. 3 a.m, that thing comes crashing down and literally like startles the heck out of us, and we jump up out of bed. But
because it landed on some other stuff that was loud too, right?
Yeah, and we were like, okay. And then later on, when I communicated with them, they're like, yeah, that was just us trying to say, yeah, we're here. I'm like, well, that's a really strange way to like startle us out of bed to say, hey, we're here, hi. But another really, really good thing that we had paranormal experience, and there's no explaining it whatsoever. I don't know if you're familiar with the PlayStation 4 where you can play movies through it.
Not, but
yeah,
we'll take your word for it.
If you play on the PlayStation 4, it has a remote anyway. And we're playing a movie through it. And this is after Mom and Phillip passed. There was loads of energy in the house. We were watching, I Labyrinth or whatever. It was coming to the end of the movie. And Jonathan had to run to the bathroom. I'm like, please, you're gonna miss the best part. Pause it so you don't miss the ending. And he goes, no, because if you push the wrong button, the daggone thing's going to turn off, and I don't want to go back trying to put the movie back on. So he left it, put the remote down by the side of the sofa, came back, went to the bathroom. As he came back in, the movie, without a word of a lie, rewound right exactly where he left off, started playing again. You cannot do that without the remote. We sat there going, how did that just happen? And then there was I think a tap in the room and said, did you do that? And it was yeah,
tap on the screen.
Tap on the screen. Like Phillip didn't want him missing the end of the movie. And there's no explaining it. We can't explain that.
This is actually a phenomenon I've heard of before where ghosts can affect electronics in a household.
Yes.
And actually make phone calls and, through the electronic landlines,
Like the incident when Mom and Phillip were in Sonora and they got the phone call, the invisible on Beachy, that was happening at the exact same time when the silver bells were going off on the wall, where you, Dad, and I were all experiencing it at the same exact time, 350 miles apart. That was,
There's no explaining that. I mean, it was really strange, and for like the phone, she said the phone didn't even. What'd she say about the phone? I know she got the phone call.
Phillip. Yeah, she and Phillip were both in the same room. The one that's downstairs. Basically it used to be our living room, the downstairs living room where in Phillip's room. So yeah, he was in the same room with her, and he said that the phone didn't ring, but Mom said she heard like a bell, and she thought it was the phone ringing, and so she picked it up, and so he saw her do that, and she was trying to have a conversation with this.
Bizarre voice.
Bizarre voice. Yes. Yeah.
It's amazing what they can do and what they can affect. So.
Yes. A few years later, I was reading a book by Dion Fortune called psychic self-defense. She was a very famous psychic back in 1920s England, Dion Fortune, and it says, like, I think on page 200 or something like that, that a spirit that isn't quite strong enough to be able to manifest itself, visually, will frequently manifest as a silver bell, with the sound of a silver bell. Yeah, and what was really interesting in our case is that it manifested in two places at the exact same time, a long distance, apart.
350 miles, is that right?
Yeah, and then, of course, the next night was the one when the tall blue-white entity approached me and it caused the coins in my pocket to become magnetized.
No, you're skipping over one, the one where
right, sorry, right. Yeah, the night before was when I was in bed and my bed was being pushed twice from the base. I was awakened by this whizzing sound in the air, and then I just thought it was a fan or something like that. So I turned over, and then the bed was pushed twice gently from the base. And again, I tried to ignore it, thinking a little bit of an earthquake. And then it was pushed twice again, a little stronger. Then it was pushed like saying, "Wake up." And then I got the tap on my shoulder, on my deltoid, tap, tap, tap.
And this was coincidentally the exact place where his
where I had an
tracking chip implant was.
Yeah, I was that was found just by totally coincidence when I almost lost my right arm in an accident on the base, which almost left me completely crippled. And when they did x-rays, they found this little piece that looks just like a grain of rice that was in a place where there was no bone chips at all.
But it was metal because it came up white on the X-ray.
Couldn't explain what it was, and I wasn't thinking about any type of tracking devices in 2013. I was worried about never being able to play music again. That was my main thing. I mean, I tore all my rotator cuffs, plus had several breaks in my scapula area, so it was in dislocation. It was very, very scary, but that was the only reason. It was the exact same spot where I was tapped 3 times in the deltoid.
And then after a 6-hour surgery to repair the damage, during that surgery, at some point, the tracking device must have been vacuumed out or something because
I still
later X-rays, it's gone.
I have digital X-rays. We're just waiting for technology.
Yeah, showing the little white. It looks like a grain of rice, kind of.
Yeah.
So, but it's obviously metal. And
so you're right. So then it was the next night that I was afraid to sleep in the bedroom. That's why I was sleeping on the sofa in the living room.
Yeah.
Right.
Karen, what do you remember from that weird week of incidents?
I remember the silver bills. I remember all of that. I remember the "I am the invisible and beachy" thing being said on the phone, but I do not remember. I don't know whether I wasn't there. Some parts of it I didn't get the same activity that Stephen did, but when I've asked, it's because that side of it isn't my journey.
Right.
So for you, those things were meant. That side of it. For me, because of being in the line that I am with the women in the family and the automatic writing and the paranormal kind of spiritual side of things, I think I was shut off from the other stuff. I don't know. I can't explain. None of that happened. Only the spirit side of stuff, And I think because they said when Mom passed, there was a reason why she used to be with me, and then that spirit guide thing continues with me at the end. I don't know. Like I said, I don't understand it, but I know that I think that's probably more so what it is that's my journey is completely different from that side of it. Like you had more of the alien side and other things, and so many different things happened to you, Stephen, that I didn't get the chance to. I don't know whether I was purposely shut down from it. Like in my head, my mind, everything just stopped, didn't it? Once it got too much for me, I stopped. I shut down. I got scared or whatever, or it wasn't my journey. I don't know.
Right. Well, that's exactly what I remember. I'm just glad that Dad was there when he saw the coins that were all sticking to each other. I'm just glad that we could both do it. So it was. I had a witness, and we were just shaking our heads. This isn't possible. Coins are not magnetic. And I had some nails in my pocket too. But this was 6 hours after I was. Half my body was just paralyzed. When that being crossed from the front door, like in a second and a half, just floated, this tall, blue-white, shining being, and it brought all the light with it, and just stopped by my side and just paralyzed me, and bent down and said, "Hi, Steve." It's like that in a whisper. And I couldn't tell whether it's male or female. And I was saying, I'm going to see Ole Glegley, and I was like really excited because I'd heard from Uncle Doug about Ole Glegley and Mom and Dad. And so, but, part of me was, just like, was scared. Part of me was scared. Said, buddy, you can't move, so, and then I guess it sensed I was scared and unbent from, it's like this bent down to say, whisper in my ear. And then it left. It went back through the front door, and then I just blacked out. But it was just like these things that that you can't explain. And when you have witnesses, and it's happening in two different places, that something, and you don't really talk about this with your friends. This is not something you talk about. It says, "Oh, are you living in a haunted house? Are you just nuts? Or are you crazy?" Especially in 1979.
Yeah. No, back then you wouldn't.
Yeah. Right. It's more known now. There's a lot more whistleblower testimony coming out. And so the stigma for reporting these things is disappearing slowly. And, we're starting to get people, like one of our guests, her name was Sarah Coopersmith. We met her at Contact in the Desert, and she started talking to us about her alien abductions, and she had never spoken to anyone about them before. And so she kind of came out on our program, with as an alien abductee.
Is she the one that's had two kids?
No, she only had one.
Only one
pregnancy. I was wondering, Karen, if we hypnotically regressed you, if maybe we would discover that you had been in fact abducted, because I wonder if I've been. I don't have an inkling of it, but I'm married to an abductee, right? So
most likely,
would they have taken me too? Yeah. Just why not? But I have no memory of it, and I wonder if we shouldn't regress, both of us, to try and tap into all those memories.
You never know. You never know. Like I said, these maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I don't remember anything, but then again, who knows? Your mind can be closed off from things.
They block the memories quite effectively. Yes.
Yeah. The things that happened to Phillip up in Sonora when he was 16, with he had a fair amount of stuff. I know he slept in the closet for a couple of years in Fallbrook.
I remember that.
You read the first chapter, right?
Yeah.
He said he was, I remember. I remember
him sleeping in the closet.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was afraid of the little men that would come at night. He was like, I'd seen them when I was his age. I saw they looked like garden gnomes that were walking into the room.
It's funny, as children, abductees sometimes see them as less scary things. They'll see them as like the boys saw them as gnomes when they were children. And I've heard that kind of thing before. Sometimes people see them as owls. Sometimes
they can
as dwarves.
They just change into what?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're tampering with your memory, and that's why we have these bizarre memories changing all the time. Changing them from gnomes into aliens later, or whatever. I don't know if they're just tampering with our memories, or if they are able to shift their shapes.
In fact, we found that like the whole vampire mythos is really the abduction mythos. When you think about
the abduction phenomenon,
they come at night. They're very powerful. They take your DNA. They revisit you time and time again.
They paralyze you,
and they can change their form. They can change the way they appear. When you think about the vampire thing, it's more like a more recent iteration of the abduction phenomena.
And the succubus phenomenon. It was reported in the 1600s, where a woman would say, "I've been raped by a demon," and then she would be pregnant. And but then the pregnancy would not come to term. She would give birth to just air. And that you have just described the alien hybrid breeding program, where they rape a woman and impregnate her, and then 4 or 5 months later, she's pregnant, but they come and steal the fetus. They take her again.
Yeah, we only know this because we have ultrasounds now, and we had
and testimony of thousands and thousands of women.
In fact, the lady who wrote our foreword, Karen Wilkinson, she's had 4
pregnancies
that were mysterious, where the fetus was there, and then the fetus is not there,
and gone,
always at about the 4-month mark, and it looks like she was never pregnant at all. It's pretty. Her story is. It's really pretty scary. Her book, Stolen Seed,
Evil Harvest. Stolen Seed, Evil Harvest is the name of the book.
Yeah.
And we've heard of this phenomenon again and again, the pregnancy thing. Fortunately, the boys didn't have to endure
we
that.
Didn't have that.
No. I think I'm fine. I never had anything like that happen, I'm sure.
Yeah. I personally think Karen's fine too. Yeah, I don't think
no unexplained pregnancies while you were 13 or 14 years old.
No, we would have known about that.
Yes, that must be a rude awakening.
But we'd like to hear too for the audience about some of the things you've encountered on some of your ghostly locations.
Yes, I particularly want to hear about the what's the one that got beheaded? The Scottish Queen,
Mary
Queen.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous place, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Tell us about that place.
Yeah. We had some really good communication. Actually, we'll have to give you some of the footage of it, but we got their voices literally coming through, thanking us for helping them. I swear it was her. We got her footsteps on some of the audio. When we asked them to come forward, you could actually hear the footsteps.
Yeah, household footsteps. On the wooden floor.
On the wooden floor. And we were not moving when we asked them to put the report on. Huh?
Where's the place?
Scotland.
Jedburgh. It's a place called Jedburgh. Just on the outskirts of Scotland as you go in. It's called Jedburgh. It's a really old.
And she was there for a long time, right?
Yeah, was there.
And there's a whole story that happened to be on the night that she almost died. One of the nights when we were there, there's a whole story of her riding out on a horse in this really big storm, trying to go see her husband James.
It was locked up in the castle.
It was locked up. She got really, really, really sick, and then she almost died on that night. Incredibly sick. So when we were doing the investigation, Bethany started getting worse and worse, didn't she? She was getting pains in her legs and everything else. We ended up, when we were asking questions, all the relevant things were coming back, answers, that it was her trying to tell her story through Bethany by falling off her horse. Beth had pain in her leg, and everything we were asking, the devices were going off and answering for us. And then at the very end, we were doing a word...
an EVP, live EVP recording.
Not only that, we also did the word device. What was that word device? The Echo Box.
Echo Box.
I think it was Echo Box, where the words they can speak through it. And at the end of it, they were actually saying thank you for helping us, because we were basically telling her story of why she was still there, and her husband. Actually, you could hear James' voice. I'll have to send you the clips of it, but they actually thanked us for helping them. And there's our footsteps. I've got loads of things from there. It's an amazing story, Mary Queen. Wow. She's an amazing woman.
And also too, that when you're doing this kind of work, it's not for the faint of heart. Number one, you have a lot of sleepless nights, and also too, these entities can also affect your health. So this is not necessarily something that most people want to do, because it's actually it comes at a price, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Health-wise? Well, Strelly Hall is one of them that I would say. Strelly Hall has a lot of. Are you guys familiar with the name of imps? What imps are?
Oh, that the thing like the one that attacked Mom, like that imp. She called it.
Yes, exactly. They're a lower form of a demon, a lower form of demon, basically. They're the things like when you open up, say you open up and do a seance, or you open up and you speak to the spirit world, period. When we do this, we're opening up already. Once we call out, say, is anybody there? Or you open up a Ouija board, you're opening a portal. It's anything. It's like opening your front door. Anything can come in and come out unless you state what you want. You're just opening to anything. These little lower level demons are the first things that are going to be running in. They're going to be coming in because they're there to just cause chaos, to cause trouble. They're just little
tricksters.
Yeah, basically.
Being impish, that's where it comes from, right?
Yeah.
They're horrible. They're horrible. Well, Sterling Hall has these down in their dungeon. We have been every time I get around them, they don't like me because I do the prayers, and I'm the one who gets hurt. Usually, I get constant pains in the back, and they're constantly attacking on me because they don't like me because they know I can do the prayers and I can protect. They don't like that.
Right.
They like you. They love him. We have got some amazing, like when I asked, there are these demons downstairs, right? And I was like in pain the whole time. I'm like, do you like Jonathan? And you hear this word device goes, every death wish, death. As clear as a bell. And this app that we used is called Echovox. There are no words in it. It's only phonetics. So it's like, heh, ha, ha, me,
Bits of
so they need to put those things together to speak, or they like speak straight through it. And it was as clear as a bell, and I can send you that as well. It was as like every death wish, death. And I'm like, didn't you say death? And he's like, yeah. I'm like,
Repeat.
So Jonathan, you must have a little bit of darkness in you that they like you.
Yeah, I think I got a bit of a dark streak.
Every time he goes somewhere, Beth and I get beaten up on, and he's like, oh, I'm fine. We go to haunted museums, and that haunted museum was
For the doctor.
haunted museum in Stoke. Evil doctor, his evil bag of tricks was there, wasn't it? In Liverpool.
Wow.
They had his bag of all his instruments. His doctor used to cut women up and used to kill them and murder them. Absolutely horrible. That must be a ghost. We got the idea of going, well, we're gonna see what we can do with this doctor, right? So Jonathan straps me into this chair, puts on the
blindfold,
this spirit box, and it puts a blindfolds me, and I'm asking questions, and I'm already in pain because the whole night's been absolutely horrible. Beth and I were in pain from when we walked in, and we're asking questions. What did you do? What did you do to the women? And you can hear, I killed all you. I kill all you. And then resume the pain. And this really deep, dark voice, and it's coming through there. Exact same voice every time I'm asking a question. And then the alarm was going off. And this guy was bad news. But he was the whole night fine. Bethany and I were like, can we please take a break? Because we're just horrible pain that whole night.
No, it's terrible.
They love him.
Yeah. And you were sick the morning of that imp attack on Irene, right? You and Phillip and Irene were all sick at the same time.
Yes. Oh, they cause you to feel so sick. And that's the thing. They can affect you so badly. And we all felt really sick. And as soon as it finally left, we were all fine. But they can make you feel really, really sick, and they can really hurt you. And I've had so much pain, felt like so sick. I had to walk out of a room a few times when they had that was at haunted museum where they have this demonic box. What do you call it? That box?
Dybbuk box.
Dybbuk box, where they've got some really dark energy.
It's like a Jewish thing where they put scrolls in and then put prayers on it and then close it with wax and stuff, and it's not meant to be open.
Kind of
something like that. Yeah,
so dark.
Or a gin, just like a sealed box.
And I was so sick from that. I could stay in the room for a while, and I was like, I have to just step out of the room for just a minute. He was like, oh, come on. I'm like, do you never not get affected here? Help me out here. But
there's a box over here somewhere in the States that it's a famous box. It's the same kind of thing where they would seal things or seal a spirit. It was a box where they sealed the spirit in it.
Yes.
And whoever owned this box either got really sick or committed suicide or died. Yep. And finally, the last guy who had it, he had it buried, or he put it someplace where he will never be able to find it. I don't know how he did it, but it was just too dangerous for anybody to have. It's just too,
they're
too dangerous. Yeah. I mean, literally, it would kill people. I mean, just drive them insane.
That's one of the things we try and explore. Sorry, we try and explore on this show is you know, what are demons? What are ghosts? And what are the alien abduction phenomena? And why do they cross over a lot? You know, it seems like in our family, there's been a demonic attack. There's been like a haunting, and then definitely the abduction phenomenon.
Oh, the lost time, the missing time. Yeah, the dad even saw the blue white light coming out of my room. That he was doing the cop thing. You know, what's all this thing? Getting out of bed. Said, what's this strong blue light that was completely encompassing my doorway? And I have no memory of that at all. My dad did. He said he was getting out of bed and going to go see where the light was coming from, and this voice inside his head said, Jeffrey, everything's fine. Just go back to sleep. Stephen's fine. And he basically went back to sleep and just had no memory of what happened. And I have no memory of that at all.
I'm pretty sure they knocked him out because Jeffrey was not the kind of guy that would just take the alien's word for it that his son was fine, you know.
But he knew all about Ole Glegley, just like, Douglas, he told me that story about when he was in Ceylon, which is now Sri Lanka. He told me that story when I was like 14 or 15 about how he was saved by
Did he tell you that story, Karen?
Yeah, that's such a good story, Steve, on that one.
Yeah, the thing too, like, obviously the first car that he got Cheryl was that white Triumph, and of course the license plate, of course, was Ole Glegley, which I saw it. I thought it was really funny because I was younger than Cheryl, right? So I was probably like 13 at the time or 14, and she had this nice car parked out of the Fallbrook house, and it was like, oh, really? The license plate is Ole Glegley. Okay, that makes sense. So obviously he believed in it enough, and he was saying thank you.
Well, of course. He saved his life, didn't he? I mean, that was that's an amazing story. That, right?
Yeah, it is.
Karen, Stephen has two intervention stories that he attributes to Ole Glegley.
Oh yeah,
and we don't need, our audience doesn't need to hear him again. They've heard him many times. But I was wondering if you had anything like that. Were you ever inexplicably saved by someone who vanished? Like Stephen did,
or like meeting somebody that you think that you're sure you've met them before, or just something like that along those lines.
Well,
too.
that's different. That's like a deja vu thing. Yeah. But, okay, so no, they didn't rescue you at any time in your life. You think,
I don't. No. I don't, like I said, it doesn't seem like that side of it for me. I don't know why, and I wish I had more for that.
I had one. I had one that wasn't in the book that we decided not to put in the book because it's just maybe one of those really lucky things, where I didn't break my neck kind of thing. Remember we're doing. It wasn't in the book, but because it was like in 2011. I was doing this project way out in 29 Palms. I was redoing this roof, this cupola for this friend of ours that was in a group, and I was finished doing the roof, and I decided, it was a hot day. I was going to get off the roof quickly, so I decided to go off a direction at this big post that was just basically sticking out of the ground that was near the ridge line of the roof, and I said, okay, I'm just going to go that way because I didn't want to mess up the roof I just finished, and I miss my footing and I fall about 9 or 10 feet straight down into concrete and right into all around the area that I fell. There are these huge rocks. Okay. I fell and I blacked out as I was going down, and then I hit with my right side of my head right in concrete from about 9 or 10 feet up. And I immediately felt it swelling up, and I got up and I said, Leslie,
I heard the scream.
I just killed myself, and I got up and I said, oh my God, how did I fall? I literally had to fall like a fetus in between all the rocks, just all there in a circle. And these things, if I hit one rock with my head, I would have broken my neck.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after that I realized, and it started to swell up like
miraculous the way he there's all these obstacles around him that he fell in between, just like, and landed like
and my head immediately.
It wasn't your time. It wasn't meant your time.
It wasn't my time because I had that slight blackout when it felt like I was like, I still had to hit, but I didn't hit as hard as I should have hit, and I didn't hit the rock, right? And so the head started to swell up right away. And, Leslie wanted to take me to the emergency room, which would probably been a smart thing to do.
Probably would have been wise.
But
yes.
I said, just get me to the 7-Eleven. Let's put ice on it right away. So I wasn't slurring my words. I didn't lose consciousness. I wasn't like,
yeah.
I didn't have any of those symptoms. So
one pupil wasn't frozen big and the other one tiny or something.
So anyway, we put the ice on it right away. We drove about the 45 minutes back to the house, right? Leslie had to go to work, right? So I said, I'll just keep the ice on it and I'll let you know if I start to have symptoms, So I ended up basically, I didn't crack anything. I didn't even get a concussion. I didn't really have a headache after it. It just swelled up and I hit really. Then we went out there the next time and said, how the heck did I fall in between all these rocks?
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally, I fell like in a ball and I just missed everything. And I have no idea how that happened. Just either dumb luck or it wasn't my time.
No, I think there's reasons like that happen the way it did. I believe. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I had no side effects from it that I know.
And Karen,
that's amazing.
That imp incident of Irene's, we calculate that that's the same time frame where Phillip was being abducted. He had 3 incidents at the Sonora house,
right?
That were all in the same week. It seems like these things come in clusters, and I would also add the imp incident to that same cluster because it was in the same time frame.
Right.
But Phillip, he said he got
the white lights first.
Yeah, the first one, he was these bright white lights were just shining in his bedroom window one night. And the Sonora house, his bedroom window looked out over that creek. So there's like a 30-foot drop right off the window. And these 2 white lights were very bright, shining straight into his window.
Right,
and he stared at him for a few seconds and then blacked out and woke up hours later, tucked in. And then the same kind of thing happened the next night where he...
the cat.
He was laying in bed and he heard this weird scrabbling sound. And he reached down to pet the cat that he assumed it was, right? And so he reaches down and instead of a cat, something cold grabs his wrist like this, and he feels this thrill of terror and adrenaline,
right?
But then instantly blacks out. Again, this is like the signature for the abduction phenomenon because there's no way you should, go black right then. And then the next day, or a couple of days later, it might have been, he said he woke to a noise and he looked over at his bedroom doorway.
Right.
And there was a tall gray alien standing in the doorway. And that's when we first realized who we're dealing with, that we're dealing, the family is being definitely approached by the tall gray.
That's part of the equation. Yes.
Yeah.
Part. It seems to be.
And then he blacked out again and just stared at it for a second and then blacked out.
And then, and Phillip, when he had the house that he built, that house he built with Dad on.
I know the story of that.
Sunshine Drive, right? Yeah, I mean the one about the red orb that kept on coming, kept on harassing him on his deck at midnight. The one that went through his right shoulder. Actually, this happened to be Leslie and I just happened to be up there the next day, and he showed us the welt, and it was like this ball.
It's like a bruise on where it went through him.
Yeah, it was just these weird things.
What were you thinking we were talking about, Karen? A different story?
No, it's the same one. I was like, that's crazy. What happened? No, that's the same story. That's nuts. That's just,
it
seems like you guys experienced that I didn't. It's like I think the Sonora house was an active house, though. I think at times I would be in bed. If I felt anything next to me, I would just say, "Go away. I don't want anything to do with it. Nothing would ever happen." Even if I started getting freaked out about something, I would just say, "Go away. I don't want anything to do with it." And nothing ever really. I never had those experiences. So I don't know. They didn't want me.
Just recently,
I too feel rejected.
Just recently, I've been having.
I'm beat up by imps, and that's all they want. Oh, I don't know.
Recently I've been having things like it felt like or sounded like a car crashed through the bedroom, happened twice in one night, where just like a car just from the street just came crashing through the window or through the wall.
Yeah, Karen, do you get any of that kind of thing where you hear loud knocking just as you're trying to go to sleep or anything like that?
Oh, well, when I first opened up to the spirit world and we were starting to talk to things and doing these ghost hunts and stuff before we started even ghostly locations, they would start like, because they knew we were talking to them. All of a sudden, the spirits around our house is super active. Our house is built on used to be the old steelworks. It's a huge thing that used to be here in Consett, and there's loads of activity around here through things that have happened on the land. So as soon as they knew that we were talking to them, they were starting to knock on the wall, and then I just had to put my foot down, going, "I know you want to talk. But when we're sleeping, you ain't doing that." No. So I put my foot down. I'm like, "It's fine. We'll talk to you. I'm not saying go, but I'm just saying not now." So the foot was put down early.
But it's funny though, because a lot of the houses, they were bought up, but not even a year later, quite a lot of people have moved out because they didn't like the activity in the houses.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's very
they're new houses, but it's on the land.
Yeah.
Because quite a few people had died in the furnaces and other accidents to do with making parts for train tracks and train engines and all that. So they're still on the land, aren't they? So
have you decided to visit places like Stonehenge or like any of the mounds that are around? Or
I would be awesome to do.
We probably would, but they're so far away from us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It'd take a long journey.
We'd have to make a special trip out of it.
There are a lot of henges though in England, right? There are like different places.
There
like smaller
in
henges.
Europe. There's like in Europe and in England there are 1,100 known henges. They're just they're not as impressive as Stonehenge, so few people know about them, but there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of paranormal, like places over here, huge. Like even another place we went to when we're talking about places to go that are really haunted. We went to, I wrote it in my book. Hold on. We went to, Brighton, Strelly, Black, Mill Street Barracks. Mill Street Barracks. That's a,
oh yeah, it's an old
military base. Military base. Actually, when you see a dark shadow and you think you see a dark shadow but nothing's there type of thing.
Yeah.
That's what I experienced, but we caught it on video.
Really?
So we actually caught what happened to me when walking with Bethany in the pitch dark. I'm walking with my camera, around these chairs. She's with me. I think, you feel she's there, but at some point she stopped and turned around and went the other way. I had no idea she had done that. I'm continuing walking, and then I see this like dark shadow next to me, and I turned to go look. I'm like, "Oh, that was really weird." I said, "Beth, I thought you were there, and you're all the way down there." And then on the video, you see this thing come shooting down next to me, and then right after that, I turn and I look. So whatever it was caught on actual video, and it's the weirdest thing when you see something but it's not there, it's like a dark shadow. You're like, "Oh." So weird. But there's so many haunted places like that and lots of activity. That's what we love it over here, because loads of places to go to do.
I imagine England, since human beings have occupied England for a really long time, you have a lot of ghosts there, where here I think no one's died within
I know.
Well, in Sky Valley, I don't think there's been much.
There's hardly been anybody
but we're
living here for.
But we are 2 miles away from the San Andreas Fault. We live right next to the San Andreas Fault, which is.
I know. Over here, I got like 1600s and 1500. The places from so far. Oh, what was it? Ancient Ram Inn and I got messed. The pagans. Paganism. Oh, I really got they were very upset with me, and
I bet. What's this Christian doing here?
Every time they start flashing the lights and I start saying something and I say, "Oh, you pagans," they're like, "Flash the lights even more." And then I got their voices coming through. 3 in the morning we were chatting, and you can hear these guys' voices coming through. What is it with your pagan ways? And then you heard this guy go, "You have to." Back in the day, they had to. They had no choice. And I had these amazing communications, clear as a bell. Loads of amazing voices we caught there as well. And it's all well back in the ancient days. It's shocking the stuff you can catch in these places, really. Voices,
right, because the Romans were there for a while, the Vikings, the pagans.
Why do ghosts hang around so long? I mean, why don't they move on? Do you think?
It depends on how you pass.
Yeah, I mean, they could be trapped. There for whatever reason. If they've done something wrong, then that's their punishment. They have to stay in that place. They could actually love the place and they don't want to leave.
Study hall.
Study hall, yeah.
Or it's just like sometimes if someone passes too quickly and they don't even realize that they have passed. We've run across spirits like that where they've had an accident and didn't even realize what had happened, and they're confused and they don't know what's happened. You know,
I think that is what happens a lot.
They don't realize.
They don't realize they're dead. Maybe, you know.
Yeah, there's some that. You know, and as soon as you acknowledge them and tell them, there was one man.
No, it was like that dream I had.
Oh yeah.
I had a really vivid dream about a woman standing on a bridge over a road, and then she had 2 children with her, and she just dove off. And then I saw her landing, and then I thought nothing of it. And then we did an investigation in the house, didn't we?
Yeah, but you said you even saw, it was so vivid that you looked off the bridge and you saw her broken body, didn't you? You saw everything, but not the kids.
I didn't say that until we did the investigation in the home, because then it comes through about a woman dying off a bridge, and I was saying, that's weird, because I got a dream, and it was like real. And then eventually we'd sort of like figured out her story.
I know why. I know. I had to go back and think about this whole thing, what happened, because the night before, I have an app where you put your finger on the app, and it just basically gives you words and tells you things, whether it's always real or not, or spiritual, you don't know. But it came up on there saying, seeing a dream, and I have it somewhere saying, seeing a dream, whatever. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'm going to get a dream visit. Maybe my family's going to come through. Wouldn't that be exciting? And it kind of didn't say anything else. Didn't tell Jonathan nothing. You had that dream, and then he told me in the morning, oh my gosh, this dream was so vivid. I'm like, what? And then he told me, I go, how strange is that you said you've seen it see it in a dream. You got that story about some woman jumping, and the energy in the house was really, really, really high, wasn't it?
And then you investigated it, right?
Yeah.
We said sort of like a couple of days before that we'll do a home investigation and see who's around. So whether she heard that and then came to the house to let her story be known.
Well, because I go on a walk with my friend Pauline, we walk over a bridge, and the day before all this happened to you, and I got that message, Pauline had been walking and talking about us doing the investigation at our house. Now, whether a spirit hooked on going, oh my gosh, these people, maybe they can help me, because it looks like her whole story came out in this investigation where she jumped. And she was being abused, and she felt there was no other way out, and she ended up taking her own life. Now, it ended up not being with her children, but I think she was like walking with her children, holding them, saying, I have 2 children, but I jumped, because he never saw their bodies in the dream, just her. So it was a really weird thing, but everything came out in that investigation at home, and we got a huge story about her. And I think we helped her in the end. I think we hopefully helped her to move on.
Moved on.
Yeah, she moved on, but the one who heard her didn't, obviously.
Yeah, I think I've heard of somebody who just told a ghost that he was dead. By the way, you're dead, and he didn't know. I guess
was that the one that kept on running up and down the stairs?
Yeah, this man. I lived in this Queen Anne mansion up in Portland, Oregon, really old house. And he lived in a little bedroom just below the attic. And there were these stairs that went up to the attic and they were just outside his bedroom wall. And he said at night he could hear somebody running up these stairs every single night. And so he started banging on the wall to communicate. And eventually he opened up a dialogue with this ghost, and finally, and he did some research, and turned out, sure enough, there was a little boy that had died in the house. And he said, he informed the boy, by the way, you're dead and you should move into the light. You should move on. And then it worked. As far as he knew, the haunting ended.
Yeah,
never heard.
It's
it
just
again,
sometimes it's just acknowledging them and their story. And then when they realize, they're like, oh, and then just tell them not to be afraid of going through. Some spirits don't go because they're afraid of the light and they don't know what's across there. They don't realize that when you go through there, your family's there. All, it's a lovely place to go. Yeah. They're there waiting for you, but they're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of that. And sometimes you just have to reassure them and say, it's okay. You know, or they're so attached to a place that they don't want to leave. But the point is, when you cross over that way, you can still come back and visit. But if you decide to stay here, you're stuck here. You can then not go anywhere else. So you need to do that, cross through the light. You can always come back and visit, but you don't have that being stuck.
Yeah, you're not just trapped here, forever.
Yeah.
Because so many ghosts are of people who died quickly or violently or
unexpectedly.
And I think you could get blasted out of your body and your soul doesn't realize that it's dead now,
Well, like the famous battles like at Gettysburg and, over here in the States where like literally hundreds of thousands of, young men would die in a day, or 50,000 in a day. And they're still seeing, full body apertures at course, always like at 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's a pretty haunted area too. Here.
Right. And these guys don't even know over 150 years later. A lot of them either have chosen or they just don't even realize that they died. It's just strange, obviously.
I know.
Sad.
Tell our readers, our readers, our listeners, who Bethany is.
Yeah, it's my daughter. Yeah, we're sort of like a family unit that does our own investigations.
The three of you go together on stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just said earlier that Karen doesn't have a daughter, but Bethany's your stepdaughter, right?
She's a daughter that I've always wanted. I never got one, so now I have one.
Right. Exactly. So do you have any animals like, a dog or a cat currently in your place?
Not at the moment, unless you say like spirit cats or something.
Of course, yeah, that's different. Yeah.
But no, there's no like living ones.
Do you have pets haunting you too?
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Really?
the other morning, because like we're building up to this interview, and the energy's crazy. So
the house is
yes. A couple of mornings ago, I heard a cat going meow. I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
And the funny thing is when I communicate, and it's funny because it was quiet and it was early in the morning, and sometimes I just go on my automatic writing and just when I get a lot of energy, because for me when I hear energy, it's like tinnitus in the ears, and the louder the ringing and the more energy is around me, I know I can feel them. So I was just like communicating, how's everybody okay? And then when I get like a little, like when they draw, like it looks like a cat paw. It's like it circles around like this. I'm like, I'm thinking, maybe the cat, And then he heard him meow, and he didn't tell me till later, and I didn't put two and two together. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jonathan, I was communicating. They were doing like a little cat paw, and then he hears a cat meow. We do have some animals sometimes with
That's
us.
so funny. Jonathan, did you put you were half asleep, right? Did you put a tin of meat down before you realized,
Some kibble.
It gets rather cold and it's chilly in this house sometimes when there's lots of spirit. The funny thing is, Stephen, you were saying something about that whizzing sound, that
Yeah.
What was that sound? You heard a sound, that whizzing sound?
Yeah, that's
The strangest thing happened to me the other day. I was in my bathroom, right? Yeah. And like I said, the energy in this house has been electric, and it's because we've been talking to you guys on here, I think. But I was in the bathroom and I got a shower and I was done and I was getting ready to go downstairs. And I was outside the bathroom and literally went, I'm like, what's that? Went back in there. I'm like, they went, looked again. I'm like, are you communicating with me? Oh, are you trying to tell me something? And it would do it I was communicating back and forth for like a couple minutes, and then the energy left. And but now you've said that, wonder whether that's a sign saying we know to tell you that they are listening. They're using your sound, your sound.
Yeah, that's
weird.
That's exactly the description of what woke me up when I was 18.
Yeah.
You know, that it was that whizzing sound, and I just basically turned over, looked. There was a light on in the kitchen, so I could see down the hallway, and there was nothing there. You know, so I just like I say, then I got the bed being pushed, and it was obviously being pushed, but it was always instead of 2. And it happened 3 times. And then I got the tap of 3 on my right deltoid. So it was 2 sets of 3.
There was
three. And it was this, and then I whirled around, and I was scared and I was ticked off at the same time. So I whirled around onto my right shoulder and I said, what? You know, and I'm looking at this, shimmery face or object in front of me. And I'm looking at it for like about a second or 2. And then I just blacked out.
Again.
But it's you know, I did not know at that point. I did not know what to make of what was going on. You know, Dad had his closet doors open and close on him, you know, like a night or 2 before. Actually it was the night before the silver bells that his closet doors opened and closed. And we both kind of laughed about it at breakfast that morning. He says, "Oh yeah, Dad, okay, yeah, you're just, you know, imagining things."
Do you guys notice that where there's an increase where you get clusters of activity? And then it goes dormant and then clusters.
Yeah, it is always centered around anniversaries of things. So the activity in this house right now is really building because it's very close to December 1st when everything happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So the activity, the energy around us is always a lot more. So things like that, you're always going to find it's going to be higher. Or if it's around like holidays, birthdays, things like that, I think everybody always notices. Sometimes if you have past memory, you may see things or signs of things happening. So that's probably on top of everything else with us talking to you, and then the anniversary coming up. I can imagine there's a lot of energy with us.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I've noticed that getting close to my birthday, I usually have more things happening to me also. Did you read the part about that pyramid of energy hitting me in the head? Did you read that part in the
Yeah,
that happened right around That happened right Christmas
Eve, right?
Christmas Eve, not the morning after. Yeah, it happened like at the
Christmas Day.
Yeah, 4:44 in the morning. Yeah, it was. And again, 2 of these events happened with the holy guy Paramahansa Yogananda. It was kind of funny because he's a Christian. Okay. He wrote Autobiography of Yogi, and he was very, very famous in his time. But that little book, Metaphysical Meditations, that's the book that I gave to Dad that night with the silver bells. I said, "Hey, Dad, just read this," you know. And that's when he came into the room like half an hour later, and I said, "You know, I'm hearing bells." And the thing up in Sonora with the blue-white the pyramid of light hitting me. I had just finished reading Paramahansa's Christmas meditation. Like 11:30 at night, put it down, and then 4:40 in the morning, I had this blue-white, you know, pyramid, and then I was encased in this blue-white, you know, cocoon of energy. And it was just like, at that point in my life, you know, I was, like I said, I was doing Tai Chi all the time and really didn't drink and didn't have a girlfriend. And, you know, I was very healthy, right? And I think I was just basically more open to it and more sensitive to it. And I think I just accidentally attracted this spiritual experience that they talk about. You know, they talk about that one pure thought, you know, balanced with emotion. And I knew in that split second when it happened, and when it lasted for like a minute, I said, you know what? Okay, I'm either going to quit the military and go to Tibet and study to become an ascended master, or I'm going to stay with the family, you know. But I knew it was like the simplest thing, but the hardest thing to do, you know, have no other thoughts. And it was, like I say, that is the height of my existence as far as all the things I've done, including going to Fiji and Kenya and whatever. I said, oh my God, this is what you can feel like all the time if you just clear your mind and just, you know, and you're just in the right state. You can actually feel like this, and you just feel like perfection. All I can say is I felt like I could do anything, and felt love. My primary thing was love. It was love. It was the energy of love. That's what it was.
That's what the past members always, when I talk to anybody through automatic writing, or when we communicate with spirits when we talk to spirits that have passed that are looking for help and they haven't gone through the light or whatever, the biggest thing for them is like live, love, laugh. All the family members would tell them, move on, let go of the past. There's no changing that. All they want for those that are still here on the earth is to be happy, let it all go, enjoy your lives, know that we're watching you, know that we love you, and just let everything else go. And that's what they want. It's love. It's they don't have all the other things that whatever we've been through in the past, put it to the side, done. You know, because you can't change it. If you're going to live your life that way, then you're going to always be sad. They don't want us sad. They say, go have fun, go enjoy your life, have the best life you can. We're here. And when you're done, we'll be there to say hello and see you again. It's not goodbye. It's until we meet again. And that's the story I always get. It's not goodbye. Mm-hmm. They're around. Their memories are still there. Everybody remembers. And they want you to remember the good times, the good memories, not the, you know what I mean? And make more good memories. I think to them, it's like, make memories, enjoy life. And we'll be here to give you a hug and see you at the end of it. We'll meet again.
Karen, and Jonathan too, a lot of our interviewees talk about seeing shadow people, especially in their youth. They would see like a dark, shadowy being, frequently with a hat, all black, sometimes an extra black against a black background. You know what I mean? And they feel a sinister presence. And the people who sometimes encounter these, if they invoke like Jesus or Buddha or a higher power of some kind, it causes them to run away. They disappear, the shadow entities. I'm wondering what these beings are. Are they ghosts? Yeah. Are they demons? Do you have any idea?
Sometimes they're lost souls, just going across the land. Sometimes it's mostly people who die all of a sudden, and they're just wandering around trying to find out what's going on. They see somebody. I mean, dark doesn't mean bad all the time.
No,
it's just what they are. They can't manifest their proper visuals because they don't even know they're dead. So they're just normally an outline. And then if someone starts sort of like saying stuff, then that's going to scare them because they just don't know what to expect, really.
I guess. So you think these are ghosts, Jonathan? Yeah. You think they're ghosts then?
Ghosts or souls, wandering souls, really.
I think there's so much out there in the spirit side of things that we don't know, isn't it? When you pass, you don't know what all happens. But as far as what I've been told through automatic writing, there's so much that we don't know. And there's a lot of other things out there, not just spirits. There's loads. And there's not all is good, not all is bad. But I've always been told, make sure you protect yourself when you open, make sure you protect yourself and close down well. Right. Otherwise, you're leaving your door. Like I said, with the imps, you're leaving your door open. So if I ever do automatic writing, it's open really well. It's intentional to who we want to talk to. And then you close that door really well. And I have a feeling, Stephen, back in the day when we were doing Ouija board, I'm sure I wasn't doing that as a child. So I can imagine that we had opened a few portals in that house by mistake as well. That couldn't have helped anything. But I mean, only because back in the day you didn't know any better, and as a child you just do what you do, and you don't think.
Yeah, a couple things that I wanted to interject. As far as like in our book, we talk about the recent stuff that's been done by our wonderful government over here over the years, where they've done a lot of PET scans and MRIs and CAT scans of people's brains, abductees, and also people who do remote viewing and interestingly, they found that a lot of people with Scottish in their background, in their bloodline, and also like Cherokee Indians, have an enhanced ability to do paranormal communications and things like astral projection or automatic writing or remote viewing. And they found two areas. One's called the caudate putamen in the brain, that's below the thalamus. And then they have an area called the parahippocampal gyrus that are either enlarged or much more highly active in people that are truly psychic or do automatic writing or do remote viewing. And they found that a lot of people that are in high positions in government that are in some of these programs, they either have Cherokee blood or they have Scottish blood in them. And they have these, it's like you have a better transceiver. You have a better way of both putting out and also receiving. It's like you, I guess you'd say, like, for instance, like most people just like listen to 107, on the radio dial, but people that have these enhanced abilities can listen to 109 and like 105. They can listen to more stations because they're more finely tuned, or they have a better receiver and a better transmitter. So actually they're putting some science behind to actually verify that, yes, this is a real phenomena. And the people that have these abilities, they have these verifiable differences than people that don't seem to, that don't believe because that's never happened to them. It could very well be because they just don't have the ability. They don't have the hardware and the software to be able to experience these things. And we do have Scottish in our bloodline, for sure.
Oh, yes, you do.
That's what's the thing. We do have them.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, it shows that the abduction phenomenon is also a psychic phenomenon, that they tend to focus on, they tend to target people who have psychic abilities. And that's so true of your family, you, Stephen, and you and Karen, that you guys, I can tell from just having lived with you guys that you are all a very psychic bunch of people.
We're different, that's for sure.
Not psycho, psychic.
That's
definitely.
Right. Yeah. That's
maybe a little of both.
When I did my 23andMe, it said that, okay, as far as what they've been able to deduce from the blood they took from me, that I have a much higher than average tendency towards schizophrenia. Okay, there's schizophrenia. There's schizophrenia in our bloodline. Also, there's not Parkinson's, but there's like 3 types of cancer and some kidney problems. I forget what it is, but I have a higher tendency towards kidney issues, schizophrenia, and like some types of skin cancer or something like that.
Don't worry, honey. If you were going to go schizophrenic, it would have happened by now.
Well, it's that, like schizophrenia, in a lot of cultures, and like, over here in America, like a Native American, the schizophrenics were called the wise men and the wise women and the seers, because they could see things. Literally, they could see things that, like, the future. Like, I've had that happen to me on several occasions where I see things before they happen. I mean, days or sometimes months.
Yes,
but I see
Karen,
it
do you have that too? Do you have any precognition abilities in your psychic powers?
See things before they're happening. That's I just think it's like, your gut instincts more. I don't know. Maybe it's probably more so maybe that without even realizing it. I know sometimes I hear things and being in your head, you kind of, before things happen, that type of thing. I have had that a few times, yeah.
It would be interesting for you to
Strange
get
things.
your blood done too. That way we'd have like another set of blood, because they base a lot of the stuff off of the people that they have blood samples from. So I know like where my second and third cousins and fourth cousins are, but they didn't even have mom and dad in the family tree were 23andMe because they never had access to
They've
their
never
blood,
built that part of the
I did it.
giant
I did
tree.
it twice, and they had me down as an identical twin. I've been trying to get them to get that off of the records. When you pull up the 23andMe thing, they say, "Stephen Shaw, you have an identical twin." It says, "No, I
just did the test twice."
I did the test twice on different occasions. And they still haven't fixed that. They have me down as an identical twin. With the same middle name, Burnett. Okay, yeah, right. You have the identical twin, right? But they both have the same middle name. No.
Same name, exactly.
All right, that should be the dead giveaway. That should be the dead giveaway.
Telling you apart.
That would be easier with identical twins. Just name them both Fred or something, and you don't have to.
I have had that happen to me about twice in my life, where people have walked up to me with these big smiles on their face and they shake my hand. John, where have you been? We've been looking for you. And especially when I was younger, that it's like I have somebody who looks a lot like me. That apparently, like, I don't owe a lot of money to people. They're not coming up to me and say, where's my $50? They're coming up and shaking my hand. I used to have that.
I've seen old pictures, many old pictures, like when you go into museums, there's lots of like pictures of people from in the 1800s or like way long time ago that look like you. I've sent you a picture. I know of one that was in Sonora, I remember, and it looked just like you.
He looks just like John Wilkes Booth.
I look like John Wilkes Booth, and I look like Nikola Tesla too.
I keep teasing him. I said, "What do you have against Lincoln, man?"
Yeah.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah, remember, Karen? There used to be when I worked at Sizzler. There was this the Sizzler bandit. He was going around and robbing Sizzlers, right? And they did a sketch of him, and the sketch of him looked exactly like me. This black and white sketch. And so we had this. Have you seen this man? And there's this guy who used to do hard copy.
They're always looking at him. People are
there's a show on LA that was really popular. It's called Hard Copy or something like that. And there was a guy.
Oh yeah.
A reporter. He used to come to Sizzler, right? And so I happened to be working on a Saturday, and I just kind of jokingly said, "See this picture here?" And he looked at me and says, "That's you." And he thought that he had busted me for like robbing the Sizzlers because I had inside information. Looked exactly. Phillip used to have that up at work at Frank Walter's office. Said, "Have you seen this man?" He said, "Just like my brother. He's been robbing the Sizzlers that he works at."
Let's wrench the conversation back to our subject at hand, though. And
yeah, I've been around before, probably.
You guys, tell us some more about
you've been around.
Yeah.
Tell us more about your ghost hunting. What other places have you been to?
Oh, blimey. The weird one for me, we did this place called 30 East Drive, which is the Black Monk of Pontefract. It's a well-known haunted house.
They did a movie on the place.
Did a movie on the place as well. And
is that monk you were telling me about, Karen? You told me about a monk that you were going to go. It was a monk, right? That a ghost of a monk.
Yeah, the 30 East Drive. Maybe this is the one that I was telling you about. This is to do with the Black Monk of Pontefract. They did the movie. What's it called? When
the lights went out.
The lights went out. That's the house. If you ever look up the movie, it's to do with 30 East Drive. It's a very famous house over here in Britain. Pontefract.
So what did you experience, Jonathan?
Wait. It was one of the times we were there, and it was me, Karen, Beth, and then Neil, who used to work with us. And we did an investigation up in the bedroom where these adults used to sleep. And then we were communicating, and there's something quite nasty there, isn't there?
Oh.
It's quite dark. So then we decided to go downstairs and convene. And then I don't remember nothing after that.
You went completely blank.
Yeah.
because something took him over. He was acting so weird. I mean, literally.
It was with Beth.
It was with Bethany because there's something really, really dark there. Whether it's demonic, whether it's just malevolent, whatever it is that's there is super dark, and it was very fixated on Bethany. She was young girl, whatever.
Right.
And whatever, when you went in that bedroom, something took you over, because he went back in the kitchen and he's telling Neil, no, we had just said we're not putting Bethany anywhere on her own in here doing anything because it's not safe. We had some really weird feelings going on. We're not doing that. Jonathan goes in there, standing with Neil, looking like, oh no, let's just put her in there. It's fine. Stick her in the bedroom. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And we had recording of when you're in there, we're testing the device. There's something that came to you through there that said, go get the girl or bring the girl or something. All these dark voices, they were trying to get him to get Bethany in that room on her own. And even when we were in that room together, all of us, she was really getting a lot of pain. Like they were literally like after her. But you did not even remember it. And we have it on video somewhere where, I don't know if I still have it. We were arguing with Neil and it was on a break. And I was like, what is happening here? Jonathan, you know better. This is your daughter. You're sending her to these horrible, dark things. What are you talking about? Neil's just watching us like a ping pong going back and forth, and you're saying something, and I'm just like, what has happened? And you didn't even remember.
Were possessed?
Yeah, he was. And then let go, and then you were fine, because I was like, I was.
And I was upset as anything when Karen had said what I was saying. So I flipping out.
I know. I'm like, do you realize what you're doing? You're trying to put your poor daughter to the wolves. This thing is affecting her already, and she's already been in pain, and you're trying to put her in a room on her own.
I bet you have some equipment failures on that one too. I mean, some of the times you get your equipment just like the batteries just get drained, right? Just
yeah.
As soon as we said that there too, and we were talking with Neil, they turned our cameras off. We had the worst time in the beginning trying to keep the cameras going. They kept turning them on. And then we had another time we went to that same house and we had a group. This is when we did the public.
Oh yeah. Right.
And holy, what the actual stuff that happened. We sent two of them upstairs and we were doing they were doing like their own little call out.
In front of a mirror.
Yeah.
There's a mirror in the bedroom. So we had a chair from the kitchen. We took it upstairs and put it in front of the mirror. And then we got a male and a female to go up there. So they went up there. They went into the room. And then all of a sudden you hear this, and it was caught on camera.
And on a voice recorder.
Flipping jump, going, what's that? Because if you get hissed at, it's going to make you jump, innit? So
yeah, and it was none of us. We had the recorder going. We had like
we were watching from downstairs.
Yeah, we could hear them downstairs, and you could hear clear as a day. They thought it was us being silly, going over a recorder, scaring them, going, and we're like, it was not us. We didn't do it. And she said she freaked out. She jumped off the bed. What was that? And then they were sitting up there going, okay, we're ready. And we're like, okay, so, stay silent. And then you hear this voice, no joke, as clear as a bell on the recording. We listened back on the next day, not your chair. And as loud as they didn't hear it, none of us heard it because it was only caught on the voice recorder the next day. But that chair that you took from downstairs was upstairs, and he was sitting in it in front of the mirror, and this thing demonically sounded, went, not your chair. I'll have to send you, that is the clearest EVP, grade A EVP we've ever caught. And these things are super dark. That we came across.
Look, honey, my hairs are standing up on my arm.
Yeah. Oh, it was. They are dark.
And talking about Bethany's best catch, it was when she turned 18, and we were doing a theatre. I can't remember what the theatre was called, but it was an old
Workington Theatre.
Workington Theatre. It's a really old theatre, and downstairs there's loads of tunnels, and they used to use these tunnels for smuggling. Mm-hmm. So we decided to put for her 18th birthday. We decided to put Bethany down there on the road.
Yeah, but the main thing is what they used to, the best part, the most funny part is we bought little bags of sugar to pretend that it was like drugs.
Like drugs.
Because they used to smuggle drugs and guns and things down there.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's all we knew. We were told this was back in the day. We weren't sure. But we said, well, we'll bring it just in case. That would be like your little bag of drugs, Beth. Go on, go down there, take a camera. Go, girl. It's your 18th birthday. You can do it. Lone
Good
vigil.
luck.
Pitch black.
Pitch black.
This girl, no problem.
She's in this room way back, way from us.
We were nowhere close to her.
She was asking questions.
Yeah, she was like taking the coke. She goes, so I don't want it. If anybody wants it, it's free. I don't want it. I don't want any. Does anybody want some drugs? You know, and the alarms were going off and everything. And then she asked a question. She goes, so what did you do? What did you sell down here? Guns? I don't know. And then after she says this, there's a woman's voice that goes, White Horse. And so I got home and we were reviewing it. I'm like, I swear there's a woman, and she just said White Horse. That wasn't Beth, and no one else was down there with her, right? I thought, what the heck does she mean by White Horse? I looked up online. I typed in White Horse, cocaine.
No kidding.
Okay.
No joke. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, Beth asked, what did you sell down here? What did you do down here? White Horse.
One things.
It was the best catch, and it was all Beth because she was trying to give it away for free, and the REM pod was going crazy because everybody, all the spirits were like, "We'll take your free drugs."
White Horse.
Like, oh, you know, out of the mouth of babes, she was perfect down there because she was innocent as a little lamb. You can have it.
She's teasing them.
Yeah,
that's not nice.
Well, you know, everybody, we've been going for about an hour and a half, and that's kind of like.
I know. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, my leg starts to cramp after about an hour and a half in this little tiny booth.
So then you go see it.
Yeah, we're in a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I came out of the closet many years ago, but now I'm back in the closet here. So.
The okay reason you're in the closet this time.
That's right.
He's a heterosexual. I want to make that clear to our listeners.
Yeah, after 30 years being married to you, I should be.
Yes, I can testify to this fact. In fact,
it's amazing how fast the time goes by. You know?
I know, it's been so wonderful, kind of catching up in a way. You know.
I know. Yeah,
we should do this weekly just to say hi.
I was going to say, just even not doing this, we should just like once in a while just have like just to catch up.
Yeah, just pop into the StreamYard link. Why not? You know.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's so easy to do. You know, it's amazing.
Well,
it's one of the wonderful things about technology. You know, there's so many bad things about it, but at least it's communication is one of the good things about it. You know?
This is the best thing here, that you can do video calls. We can be 6,000 miles away, and yet we can still catch up and say, "Hey, how you doing?" and see each other. I mean, what great technology!
It's amazing. Really. I know we did podcasts with people in Thailand and
when we first started,
all over the world. You know,
it's
amazing.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Before we go, though, we do want to make sure you tell people where they can find information about ghostly locations.
For sure. This is your plug part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, we're on Facebook and Instagram. We haven't been doing it for the past year because of family losses and that and everything going on.
Right.
But we will be getting back into action from next year. So
yes.
we're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube.
And YouTube as well, if you search Ghostly Locations.
And your handle is Ghostly Locations?
At Ghostly Locations?
Yeah, Ghostly Locations. But on Instagram, if you go on there, I have all like the little links you can click on to get to the other places.
And there's websites, a website there too.
Website, which would be just the YouTube, the Facebook, and the Instagram. So yeah.
So go to Instagram, Ghostly Locations, and your link tree is there, right, with all your other links.
Yeah, it should be everything in the bio there. Right. You should be able to see the YouTube. You can see the Facebook, and you can just click on those, and it'll take you straight to where you need to go. So
it's really amazing. I've seen some of your videos there. And there's all these like lights too. I think the the ghosts manifest as lights, don't they? I see light fly through the room while you're doing, your work.
Yeah. Or there's just so many things we've had happen, and we have loads of videos up there of documentaries that we've done of the different investigations, and just so much has happened. And each one basically tells a story. Like Mary Queen is great because it tells her story. Really, through the whole night, we got a whole story, and at the end of it, you felt like, oh my gosh, I've learned her story, and hopefully we've helped them, and they've even said at the end of it that we did, and I'm hoping we have. So, but it's things like that. That's what we love doing, is going into the history, telling the story of the spirits, of why they're still there, whether they need help or they just want their story told. And then once in a while you run across really dark things. Mostly we do, but. Sure. That's his fault.
Yeah, it's not all sunshine and roses, that's for sure. It's scary too.
No. And it's one of those things I think I want to put out there really quick for anybody who's listening, is that, I'm just going to go out and do this. Really be careful how you open up and how you close, and when you leave a place, make sure you close down really well, because things do follow you home, and you don't want that happen.
Just like going out, if you're leaving your house, you don't leave the door wide open. You always make sure it's locked. Right?
Exactly. So you've got to really do your prayers. You really got to be on top of it.
Karen, you were talking about the Ouija board that you and Stephen played with as kids.
Yeah.
When we moved back into that house, the same house, I was cleaning out one of the closets, and I found it.
Yeah.
And Stephen and I pulled it out, and I had never done it before. And I said, well, how do you do it? And you just put your finger on this planchette thing. So we both put our fingers on this planchette, and this thing takes off. Zoom, all over the board. It was amazing.
We were like in our mid 30s. This was like going 35 or 36, something like that. Yeah, that's when we moved back to the Fallbrook house, for a few years.
I'm pretty sure you guys did not close it back down when you were done.
Oh, no.
We never closed it down.
There'll be no close. It's been open to anything, and the door has been left open. And it's no wonder but back in the day, you don't know as a child. It was a game. It was fun. It was like we didn't know who we were talking to, but it was fun.
Yeah, you must have been about 12 or 13. I don't know. We were teenagers. We were young teenagers when we were doing it. Yeah.
I was amazed how active this thing was.
I tried automatic writing for a little while, and I could do it too, but I did not like it. It just felt too creepy to me as far as. But I just.
So I ended up selling it at a garage sale.
They'll just start writing through my hand. I mean, it doesn't even hurt me. It doesn't. Nothing.
Yeah, you're definitely the one that's supposed to be doing it, not me.
Yeah.
I mean, the pendulum is fine for me.
But before I could do it, I had headaches, and I couldn't, even when I tried. When it wasn't time, I could not. All I would get was a very bad headache, and I would try nothing. But when it opened up, it just did. And now I can, I don't even use a pen. They'll just go through my hand and talk to me that way, because I end up going through too much paper. Like if you use a pen, how much books you go through just writing, and then it's just. So I've kind of gotten used to just using my finger, and when I ask questions, they'll just come through and tell me things. And then if I don't understand, I'll say, "Can you say it again?" But as long as you open well and you open intended to who you want to talk to, it's clearer. If you don't, it's muddled, and there's a load of spirits all trying to jump in. And there's one big bright light. When I open up, it's massive. They say it's like a big bright light bulb. So when you open up automatic writing, or you open up, they see this, all the spirits see a bright white light. They're like, oh, someone's communicating. Let's go to that light. And they're saying something that it's a healing light. And I don't know the whole sense of what I am, but they say that light attracts everybody. And if you don't open it right and you don't close it right, you get anything. and it's too muddled. You can't understand what they're trying to say. So now I really, really, really open very carefully and close very carefully, because I get really clear communication. So I'm still learning it. Like it's a learned thing. You keep learning new things that work better.
See, that's part of the thing we really wanted to give our audience, as far as that type of explanation. The whole thing about number one, this is not hocus pocus, okay? And number two, there's certain ways to do it. There's like As anything else, learning a skill, if you have the ability to do something, not everybody can be a concert pianist, just like not everybody can, want to be an accountant. Brains are wired a little differently, and people have certain strengths and weaknesses, and certain bloodlines have more of that tendency. And that's right. It's like if you're going to be going somewhere on a trip or you want to communicate with somebody, you're not going to communicate. You're not going to want to go talk to Sam when you want to talk to John. You're going to say, I want to talk to John.
Exactly.
So you dial up John because you want to talk to John. Just like in the spirit world, like you say, when you have that attractor, that bright light, everybody's attracted to it. It says, okay, now we can speak. Like everybody wants to talk at once. Says, no, I don't want to talk to everybody. I want to talk to this one.
Just John.
You have to wait. Take your turn.
And you can tell when it happens because you can't, like, one message is coming and all of a sudden it's like something else happens and you're like, what? I can't understand. But when it's really clear, I can almost like hear them telling me before it's even on written out. I can hear it happening.
Sure.
And that's a really clear communication. But I want to open that more.
Right.
And I keep telling them, help me refine it better.
Right.
So I'm still working on learning to just like open it well,
You'll be much better even from 5 years from now. It'll be just like it's already second nature, but as far as like the clarity, will just get better.
Do they ever follow you
the
home?
thing is about mom and her automatic writing really quick. She told me, she said, on the last time I saw her, when we left, the very last time we left, we always say that she was always using automatic writing. She was still communicating with her mom back then, because she knew everything. You know how mom always knew what was happening, and but would never tell us how she knew. She was always communicating automatic writing and was being told things. Well, she knew that what was going to happen, because when we were leaving on the very last day, and I was giving her a hug, and we were just going to leave to go to the airport when we had come to visit them. She started crying, and I said, "Oh, we're going to try to plan to come back next year. Don't worry, Mom, we're going to come back." And she started crying. She goes, "No, you won't. No, you won't." I go, "What do you mean?" "Never mind. No, you won't. Go." Right? She told me the other day. I said, "Did you know something?" She says, "Oh, yeah." She says, "Grandma told me, but she told me not to say anything to you, because if I'd said anything bad might happen or whatever, you wouldn't have gone, and you were supposed to leave. You were not supposed to be there. So I had to move for all that happened with them, if you know what I mean." But she knew everything, but she couldn't tell me. She wasn't allowed to tell me through the automatic writing, but she was always aware of everything that was happening to the family.
Super psychic, and
that's how clear her automatic writing was. Like, she knew when her mom passed it, she knew things before, and that's
she knew exactly, like when she picked me up from grammar school when I was 9, and same thing when our grandfather died, and same thing when Uncle Clifford. I mean, she there was no phone calls at all. She was just told. She was told by the actual way they died too. She
knew the details.
Yeah, she knew the details. Like, I've read enough. I know that she had the gift. I know it perfectly.
She even told me before I left too. She had told me. She says, "If anything happens, don't you dare come back here. You are not to come back. Do you hear me?" I go, "What do you mean, Mom?" She goes, "Just listen to me. If something happens, don't come back."
Yep.
And that was the message again, and I never knew what that meant, but I know now.
Now you know. Yeah.
Sure.
We're wise.
That's the way it was meant to be. Exactly. On that note,
exactly. There's no changing what's.
That's right.
There was no way we could have changed it.
No.
She says it had to let it go. She says no changing. So we have to let it go.
I think we had a very enlightening talk here. Speaking of the light.
Probably Mom speaking to me. That's Mom speaking to me going, "Let it go, son. Let it go."
Yeah.
Thank you both for coming on the show. I mean, it's about time, really. We've been doing this for a year.
I know. You guys got to go stretch, and I got to go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay.
Great.
All right. We'll say good night, and let's do this again. All right? We want to hear more tales.
So, Leslie, you're kidding me.
What?
Our merchandise store is up?
Of course, my darling. All of our amazing concepts of shirts, mugs, and bumper stickers are ready to go.
No way.
Way.
Even my brilliant Egyptian concept that no one else ever thought of before?
Yes, that one too, and lots more. All at our new store at etsy.com/shop/abductions101.
Wow. I want a shirt and a mug and...
Well, Stephen, and all our curious listeners, just go to etsy.com/shop/abductions101 to see all of our unique designs.
I'm going there.
Do you like Jonathan? Death? Did they send death?
Yeah.
Is it because she's weak, because she's not well? Here.
Just to make note here, the app we're using called EchoVox is through the phone. This app does not have preset words in it. It only has phonetic sounds, so pieces of words here and there. These words are not, what came out here are not in that app. It doesn't have those words. So in order for a spirit to use this device that's on the phone, it has to actually put together sounds to make these words. Somehow they've been manipulating the device to be able to put these words through. It's absolutely unbelievable, some of the responses through this app.
Alright, we're upstairs.
Yeah. We're upstairs in the dark. We're upstairs in the dark.
We didn't even
weren't expecting it. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ!
We didn't even weren't expecting it.
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ!
The door that opened on us, which we didn't even weren't expecting it.
Fucking hell.
That's the main thing. Oh. You help us. You're welcome. You're welcome for the help. That's the main thing. Oh. You help us. You're welcome. You're welcome for the help. Well, it's been really an absolute pleasure to speak to both of you, honestly. It's a pleasure for us to speak to you. Well, it's been really an absolute pleasure to speak to both of you, honestly. It's a pleasure for us to speak to you.
I don't feel anything other than just cold in this chair. Like my leg is super freezing cold. Yeah. I don't feel anything other than just cold in this chair. Like my leg is super freezing cold. Yeah.